What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 75 of the Power Lunch Podcast. I'm your host, Frederick Douglass Bussey. I'm excited to be with you today. We have a great topic, and we have so much I want to share with you today. I'm going to break it down as quickly and efficiently, as briefly as possible. But if you've ever wondered about your business model, if you've ever wondered what it is that makes your business so valuable, what it is that allows you to be able to be successful at the highest level. Maybe if you don't see yourself making the progress you want to make or having the momentum or impact that you want to have in your business, what is it that's keeping you stuck where you are? How can you unleash that power and find even greater success? We're going to talk about the one thing that people are not talking about, or the way that you can see your business in a new way that's going to allow you to be able to unlock those things for you in a powerful way. Breaking Orbit Podcast starts now. Welcome to the podcast. Today we are excited to be talking about this great topic about the one thing or the new way that you can look at your business and owning the most valuable real estate in the world. We're going to dive into that in a second, but first we want to talk about our sponsors. Breaking Orbit Podcast is sponsored by the Seven Figure Circle $1 Million Mastermind Facebook group. This is the free Facebook group for all of our entrepreneurs who are empowered to build 6 and 7 figure businesses and go beyond 7 figure and beyond success. We have free trainings, great master classes, great content in there as well. Great conversations that we're using to support your endeavors to move forward to the next level. And so I enjoyed and I endorse it, and I engage you to go over there. If you're on Facebook, click the link below or simply type in 7 Figure Circle $1 Million Mastermind to join the group and become a part of the conversation over there. Become a part of the entrepreneurs who are shifting in their entrepreneurial efforts into the next level and go to the next level there. Also, is sponsored by my book, Breaking Orbit, Rip Out of the Regular by Unearthing the Power Within. It's available on Amazon. And if you have ever wondered what makes you so special, what makes anyone who is successful at the highest levels so successful, they're tapping into their superpower. They're discovering a life of more significance, freedom, and impact. The book will help you to discover the 3 laws of giftedness, the 9 keys to uncovering your gift. It has been endorsed. I'm going to start doing more interviews and just having people share their experiences with it as well. I encourage you to pick this up on Amazon right now. With that being said, I want to thank all of you for hopping in here and joining. Fred, thanks for joining us this morning from Alabama, I believe, right? You might be on the road somewhere. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook, drop us a comment and let us know where you're watching from or what you're discovering from this whole conversation. Normally I have guests, and we've got some amazing guests coming up here in the next few weeks as well. But we've also been leaning into doing this solo cast thing as well. And I want to be able to share some things that I've been discovering and have been impacting me in my own entrepreneurial journey as well. One of the things I want to talk about today is the concept of understanding how to build a really successful business, right? And so there are a lot of things that people talk about, and I've seen this before. For instance, people talk about what it takes to build a business. And one thing you'll hear is people say that, well, content is king, right? Content is king. You've got to be able to produce content to be able to build your business, to do content marketing, online marketing, to be able to put content out there is a great way to be able to use the internet and the online space to be able to grow your audience and to be able to find more customers and clients, etc. Well, I was listening to Dan Coe. He's got great content over the Mindset Mastery YouTube channel. And he was saying something that really stuck in my head. It was almost an afterthought, but it was a way of framing something. And I want to present it to you today. and understanding that if you can do this one thing, if you can hone this down, you can do anything you want with your business. Period. End of story. Period, point blank. You can build, if you can build this into your business model, you can do anything you want to do in your business. And it's simply this. It's been said that the most valuable real estate in the world is the 6 inches between your ears. And often when people use that quote, they talk about it in terms of you being able to navigate your own mindset, understanding how to think, how to elevate your level of thinking. Because when you elevate how you think, then you elevate how you perform, and therefore you elevate the outcomes that you're out to get. Super important. But what I wanted us to do is think about it from a different standpoint here, right? And think about the fact that if you can own that real estate, or rather, the more mental real estate you can own with your business, the more powerful you can be. So, what most people are thinking about when their content is they're thinking about, oh, I've got to get more engagement. I've got to go viral. I've got to get more TikTok followers or Instagram followers or whatever the case may be. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is it's not just about the engagement or the size of the audience. It is about the ownership of that real estate, that mental real estate of your audience. What does that mean? For most people, they are trying to tap into attention, but not owning the intention of the audience. And so there are certain people, if you look at those in media, who have been able to garner attention in a way, garner a following in a way that in turn allows them to be able to expand in other ways. That's how they've been able to grow. That's how they've been able to be even more successful. And so we look at, for instance, Elon Musk buying Twitter, right? And people will say, well, he's already got Tesla and he's got SpaceX and he's got Neuralink. Why is he buying Twitter? And I think what Elon did was he looked around the horizon, right? And for the same reason that Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, is because if I can own the media, right? Yes, it's a business model. I can sell advertising, I can have influence, but more importantly, I can own mental real estate because I can influence the conversations that are going on. I can impact the people that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And so the more mental real estate that you own, the more things that you can sell. You look at Mr. Beast on YouTube, who has, I think, over 100 million subscribers, but people flock to his videos. He pours millions of dollars into them, but he does that because he wants to own their mind, their memory of him, and he's building a brand around that entire thing. So people talk about building a personal brand, and what that really does is it means that you own some sort of real estate around an idea. But those who have not just become noticeable or memorable, but actually impactful and set up stake inside of other people's minds are the ones that do that. You look at Donald Trump, whatever you think of him, he owns mental real estate in people's minds. If you look at Barack Obama, if you look at Oprah, if you look at The Rock or Kevin Hart, these are people of entertainment. But if you look across the board, Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, different people, what people are doing is that they are vying for mental real estate in your mind. And while they may have your attention momentarily, the idea is that what you want is that you own that mental real estate so that people are coming back to you time and time again. It's like being a landlord where they have to keep paying rent. And so if you own that real estate, that mental real estate, then people have to keep returning to you to get the value of what it is that you offer, right? And so there's 3 things that I want to highlight today that allow you to be able to do that, to be able to own the mental property, if you will, to be a mental property owner. Hi, Martina. Thanks for sharing. When you are leaning into this whole idea, right? And so just like you are you are investing in real estate, right? You're going to begin somewhere. And what I decided to do with this podcast was I made a commitment to going live every day at noon, to splitting this up into different things. We do whiteboard sessions, we do podcasts, the Power Lunch podcasts, we do the Breaking Orbit podcast where we talk about the book. But the entire thing for me, and it's great because now I have a way to kind of coalesce and think about this all together. But the idea is simply that I am building a mental real estate empire. And so just like you might start with one buy and flip, right? Some people want to buy and flip that. And so people who are doing that are people who are really out there right now they're out there on social media trying to get followers and get more engagement and likes and clicks and things of that nature. Well, that's a buy and flip, right? I want to take that. I want to flip that attention and try and get something else out of it. What I want to do is I want to buy and hold, which means that I'm going to take this bit of property in your mind, and I'm going to take an idea or a concept or a belief, and I'm going to improve that idea, right? And so when I do that, now the idea that that you had before, if it's been elevated, it allows me to be able to own a space in your mind, a little bit of property, maybe a few acres around this idea. But the more I can develop, right, the more property, the more the ideas that I can begin to touch and improve and elevate, that's going to allow me to be able to have more real estate in your mind, in your head. And over time, as I'm doing that at scale, I'm going to own more and more real estate. And here's the value of that. When you can do that, you look at, I'll give you an example with Mr. Beast, for instance, or even Elon Musk. People look at him and they're confused, but I think we have moved away from the era where you just do one thing, and that one thing is your main area of expertise. What we're seeing increasingly is that for individuals, even if you're building a company that's based on a massive team or whatever the case may be, and you're in one particular vertical, you can enter multiple verticals because what you're really selling is your ability, your capacity to be able to influence people, to be able to raise money, whether it's to have people join your team, to cast a vision, whatever the case may be. It's not just being about being able to build or do a thing, whether I'm a developer, a coder, an attorney, accountant, whatever the case may be. What you're really doing is that you're proving that I can garner people's attention and engagement, and I can leverage my mental real estate, their belief in me, their belief in my ideas, their belief in our collective vision or collective will, and use that momentum to build something else that is massive. And the deeper you can go in that stake in mental real estate, and the more powerfully you can embed yourself, then the greater impact you're going to have and the more things you can build. Mr. Beast launched a hamburger. He's launched multiple merch deals. Elon Musk has gone to space, built electric cars. He's doing AI. He's invested in ChatGPT as one of the major investors in that. Now he's bought a social media network. So these things are all broad, but what he's doing is everything he does, he is creating this story, this narrative that he is a type of person that can continually do amazing things and wants to have people on the bandwagon with him to join in what he's doing. So with that being said, when you start looking at building your business, how are you going to be able to build that mental real estate for those people who are going to believe in you? And there's 3 ways we're going to talk about doing this, right? So the first thing is presence, right? I like that, Amy. Yes. And so the first of the 3 ways to build this mental real estate is through your presence. What you're essentially doing is you're becoming omnipresent in their minds. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. The greatest thing about the digital revolution and online space has been the way that you can leverage your cell phone, right? So you can leverage your cell phone to be able to create that pathway and create that presence. And the beautiful thing about it is that you can have Elon Musk on Twitter and your profile can be right next to him. And if you can put out content that continually, again, elevates and improves the real estate in someone's mind, an idea, a thought, an effort, like a business or a career, you are beginning to lay hold or lay stake to the fact that you are side by side with some of the greatest, most powerful, most famous people in the world. So there's no limit to how omnipresent you can be. You can post 100 times a day on Twitter if you want to. You can advertise on Facebook all you want to. There's no limit to how much you can do. The only limit is time. And even that we're seeing with Chat GPT and other elements like that are going to be compressed tremendously. So you can be omnipresent and have a presence to begin to really dig into and lean into this whole process of building or purchasing mental real estate. And it's so important because the more present you can be, the more powerful you can be. And many people struggle with this because they are worried about what other people are going to think or going to say. And so what's happening is you're actually surrendering your mental real estate to other people who are not going to do anything with it, right? It's almost like turning it into a land dump, right? And you're allowing the trash of other people's thoughts or their opinions or things like that. And so as an entrepreneur, as a leader, you have a responsibility to oversee and start helping other people to be able to own their own mental real estate, and thereby you begin to own or co-own that with them, if you will. This is a metaphor, but I think it's extremely true. And you can really be powerfully present in people's lives if you are intentional about it. So the biggest shift that I would want you to take away from this podcast in general is just that stop thinking about putting out content in terms of I have to get a client or I have to get a customer. We always talk about playing the long game. I talk about the luxury of time, having the luxury of time. That billionaires think in decades, not years. So if you're worried about I have to get 10,000 followers by Monday, right, so I can monetize this, turn around and sell some sponsorships or do some make an offer to people, you're missing the point. The point is not can you do this by Monday, not can you do $100,000 a month by the end of the year. The point is, can you own enough mental real estate to do whatever you want, whenever you want, over the duration of your plan, over the duration of the next 4 or 5 decades or 6 decades, depending on when you're starting. And not enough people are thinking about that in terms of doing that. So it starts with presence. How can you start to build a presence and be omnipresent in the minds of your audience? Number 2 is positioning. And this is something, that really relates to the Power Lunch. I mean, to the Breaking Orbit, the book and the podcast where we talk about your unique gift. So understanding your unique gift is important, but also understanding that it's important that you have something unique to say. And we live in a world where polarity is necessary for you to be able to stand out. In other words, you don't want to be ignored. You can be either hated or loved, but you can't be afraid of being hated. You have to be willing to take a strong position and stand for something, stand against something, and be able to stand on that thing that you stand for. And the more powerful you can have that positioning, the more you can lean into your own uniqueness, whether you're humorous or serious or educational or entertaining, whatever that thing is, whatever that element is that you're doing, you get to stand on that and to dig in even deeper. Be unique for who you are. Understand how to develop that skill set as a speaker, as a writer, as a content creator. And I don't mean that just uniquely, but your company as well. You got to have a voice. You got to have an opinion. And if you look at all of the great singular companies that are in the world, whatever vertical they're in, they all have a very special and unique and powerful position. They all stand for something. And so you get to become the blank of your industry, right? You get to be the Apple of your industry, the Google of your industry, the Snapchat, whatever it is. You become a brand and you're known for something that is iconic. So your positioning is extremely important. And you get to lean into that. We talk about that a lot with my clients and coaches. It's like, how do I create this positioning? And there are several ways. I won't go into all of those today, but once you understand how to position yourself, you will stand out. So now you're not just omnipresent. People don't just see you everywhere, but they know what you stand for wherever you are. And then the last thing, and this kind of stacks on top of the positioning, is the potency. So the more powerfully that you can encapsulate an idea, you can articulate a point of view, that you can stand for something that is more powerful than anything else, you're going to create an impact. You put that stamp on the ground. And now what you're doing is you're not only owning the mental real estate, you're starting to develop it. Just like in the real world, if I own a plot of land, I want to be able to define what those boundaries are, right? I want to be able to put things on it, put other properties or other entities on it. So whether I'm developing a mall or a high rise or a skyscraper, whatever the case may be, I need to be able to do that. And that means I've got to be able to dig in, right? So I've got to bring that construction equipment there and the earth movers to be able to dig a hole, a foundation that allows me to be able to build things from. And that's what potency is. Potency is the way that you can convey something in a way that's so powerful and so connected that it transforms the mental real estate that was there before, right? It transforms someone's mind. They see an idea, they see the world, whatever the case may be, very differently. They see it in a way that is transformative for them. And now you're able to start building upon that, right? You can start taking them through an evolutionary process, a customer journey. And until you can own that mental real estate, you're not going to be able to do that. So those are the three ways that you can be able to do that: through your presence, through your positioning, and through the potency of your message. We could dive into messaging and all those things as well. But when people kind of start talking about advertising, marketing, sales, content marketing, all these different aspects, even the idea of building a business online versus offline, it doesn't matter where you are, right? You have the cell phone and the internet is just one way to be able to do that. But on top of that all, the whole idea is that how do I build mental real estate? How do I own more mental real estate in my audience across the board? When you can do that, there is no limit to what you can do, what you can build. You can become president. I mean, we see that illustrated. Like I use the example of Donald Trump. I use the example of Barack Obama before him, because what he was able to do through his ability to speak and articulate ideas was to capture people's imaginations. And you see it with Walt Disney. You see it with Apple. You see it to some degree with Tesla. Is that when you can capture people's imaginations, now you own a concept. It is something that it becomes real and hardcore and tangible that they can hold on to, and they point to you, and you become the name for that thing. You become the Tesla, the Google, the Apple, etc. So hopefully that's been valuable for you guys today. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. If this has been helpful. If you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, drop a comment, let me know. If you're watching this on replay, drop a hashtag replay and let me know what your thoughts are, what you're discovering from this whole thing. If you're on YouTube, even if you're not on YouTube, if you're watching this on another platform, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, which is Icon Status, and give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone you know that will be valuable for you as well. We want to make sure that we're serving everyone that we possibly can. We want to reach more people. I'm out to get more and more mental real estate, right? And so I want to make sure that we're serving you as powerfully as possible and continuing to expand that reach. Thanks for all of you who stopped by for a second, for a minute. Those of you who stuck around for the whole process, the whole conversation. I really appreciate you all. We're going to leave this thing with a commercial, because I've got a commercial for our sponsorship. One of the sponsors, the book. And if you are around in any of the platforms that we are, let me know if we can support you in whatever way. If you got a business, if you have a organization that needs consulting, understanding how you can continue to expand your organization's impact, how you can continue to crush your goals this year and beyond, let me know. Reach out, drop a comment, or send me a message. And let's see if it's a good fit for us to work together as well. As always, I'm Frederick Douglass Bussey, and this has been the Power Lunch Podcast. Ever forward.